Welcome to Site Reliability Engineering Crashcasts. I'm your host, Sheila, and today we're diving into a topic that often confuses many in the tech world, the relationship between DevOps and Site Reliability Engineering, or SRE. Joining me as always is our resident expert, Victor. Hey, Victor, ready to unravel this mystery?
Hi, Sheila. Absolutely, I'm excited to explore this topic. It's a question I get asked quite often, and there's a lot to unpack here.
Great. Before we dive in, listeners should have a basic understanding of software development processes and IT operations. Today, we'll cover the definitions of DevOps and SRE, their historical context, similarities, differences, and how professionals in both fields view their relationship. Now, let's kick things off with a quiz question. In what year and at which company was the term Site Reliability Engineering first coined?
Ooh, that's a great question, Sheila. It's definitely going to make our listeners think. Without giving away the answer, I can say that it's more recent than many might expect, and it came from a company that's known for innovation in how they manage their massive infrastructure. I'm curious to see how many of our listeners can guess this correctly.
Absolutely, Victor. Now, before we get into the meat of our topic, could you give us a quick definition of both DevOps and SRE for those who might be new to these terms?
Of course. DevOps is a set of practices that combines software development, dev, and IT operations, ops. It aims to shorten the system's development lifecycle and provide continuous delivery with high software quality. On the other hand, SRE is a discipline that incorporates aspects of software engineering and applies them to infrastructure and operations problems. The main goal of SRE is to create scalable and highly reliable software systems.
Thanks, Victor. That's a great starting point. Now, let's dive into the historical context. How did these two practices come about?
Well, DevOps emerged around 2007 to 2008 as a response to the growing frustration between development and operations teams in software companies. It was all about breaking down silos and fostering collaboration. SRE, on the other hand, was actually created earlier at Google, around 2003, when Ben Traynor-Sloss was tasked with managing a team of 7 engineers to make Google's already reliable websites even more reliable.
Interesting. So SRE actually predates DevOps? I always thought it was the other way around. Could you explain some of the key similarities between these two approaches?
Absolutely. Both DevOps and SRE share some fundamental principles. They both emphasize automation, monitoring, and the importance of breaking down silos between development and operations. Both practices also focus on continuous integration and continuous deployment, or CI/CD, which is a method to frequently deliver apps to customers by introducing automation into the stages of app development. They also both advocate for infrastructure as code and the use of metrics to drive decision-making.
That makes sense. It seems like they're two sides of the same coin in many ways, but I'm sure there are some key differences as well. What would you say are the main distinctions between DevOps and SRE?
Great question, Sheila. While there are similarities, there are indeed some key differences. SRE tends to be more prescriptive in its practices, particularly around things like service-level objectives, SLOs, and error budgets. DevOps, on the other hand, is more of a cultural and philosophical approach that can be implemented in various ways depending on the organization. SRE also places a heavier emphasis on the reliability and scalability of systems, while DevOps might focus more broadly on speed of delivery and collaboration.
I see. It's like they're both trying to achieve similar goals, but with different approaches. That brings to mind an interesting thought. Victor, do you have an analogy that might help our listeners understand this relationship better?
That's a great lead-in, Sheila. I like to think of DevOps and SRE as two master chefs approaching the same goal of creating a fantastic restaurant. The DevOps chef focuses on creating a harmonious kitchen where everyone works together seamlessly, constantly improving recipes and service. The SRE chef, while also valuing teamwork, is obsessed with consistency, portion sizes, and ensuring that every dish meets specific quality standards. Both want a successful restaurant, but they have different areas of emphasis.
That's a helpful analogy, Victor. Now, I'm curious about how professionals in both fields view their relationship. Is there any tension between DevOps and SRE practitioners?
That's an insightful question, Sheila. In my experience, there's generally more collaboration than tension. Many professionals see DevOps and SRE as complementary approaches. DevOps practitioners often appreciate the structured approach that SRE brings to reliability, while SRE folks value the emphasis on culture and collaboration that DevOps promotes. However, there can sometimes be debates about which approach is better or more suitable for a given organization.
Interesting. It sounds like both approaches have their strengths. Are there any common misunderstandings or pitfalls that organizations fall into when implementing DevOps or SRE?
Absolutely, Sheila. One common misunderstanding is thinking that DevOps or SRE is just about tools, or that implementing a few practices will solve all problems. Both approaches require significant cultural and organizational changes to be truly effective. Another pitfall is trying to implement both simultaneously without a clear strategy, which can lead to confusion and inefficiency.
Those are great points, Victor. Before we wrap up, do you have any fun facts or anecdotes about DevOps or SRE that our listeners might find interesting?
Sure. Here's an interesting tidbit. At Google, where SRE was born, they have a practice called error budget parties. When a service has used up its error budget, the allowed amount of downtime or errors, the team throws a party. But it's not a celebration. It's a focused session to analyze what went wrong and how to prevent it in the future. It's a great example of how SRE turns potential negatives into opportunities for improvement.
That's fascinating, Victor. Now, as we're nearing the end of our episode, let's reveal the answer to our quiz question. The term Site Reliability Engineering was first coined in 2003 at Google by Ben Traynor-Sloss. To help our listeners remember the key differences, let's use a simple memorization technique. D for DevOps is about delivery and culture, while S for SRE is about stability and metrics.
That's a great way to remember it, Sheila. To summarize, while DevOps and SRE have different origins and some distinct practices, they share many common goals and principles. Both aim to bridge the gap between development and operations, emphasize automation and monitoring, and strive to deliver reliable, high-quality software more efficiently. The choice between DevOps and SRE, or a combination of both, often depends on an organization's specific needs and culture.
Thank you, Victor, for this insightful discussion. Listeners, we hope this episode has helped clarify the similarities and differences between DevOps and SRE. If you enjoyed this Crashcast, please subscribe and leave us a rating. Your support helps us continue to bring you these bite-sized explainers on crucial SRE topics. Until next time, keep learning and stay reliable.